You know, there's nothing quite like the satisfaction of finishing a crossword puzzle, is there? That little rush when you fill in the last clue, pencil down, and think, ah, still got it. But let me ask you something. Have you ever finished one of those puzzles and then walked into the kitchen only to wonder, now, what did I come in here for? Or maybe you found yourself struggling to recall a name or a word you know is right there on the tip of your tongue. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Our brains are like muscles. They need variety to stay strong. And while crossword puzzles are a great warm-up, they're just one way to exercise your mind. Think about it. If you only ever did bicep curls at the gym, your legs might start feeling a bit left out, right? Well, the same goes for your brain. Today, we're going to talk about why sticking only to crosswords might not be enough. And I'll share 3 surprising, enjoyable activities that can help keep your mind sharp, engaged, and maybe even spark a little joy along the way. Now, don't get me wrong. Crosswords are wonderful. They challenge your vocabulary, your recall, and your problem-solving skills. But here's the thing. They mostly work the same parts of your brain, over and over. To truly keep your mind agile as the years go by, you've got to mix things up. You need activities that light up different regions of your brain, create new connections, and maybe even get your body moving a bit. And that's exactly what we'll explore together. Let's start with the first surprising activity. Are you ready? Learn a new skill. Yes, really. I know what you might be thinking. I'm in my 60s or 70s, 80s, and you want me to take up something new? Absolutely. And here's why. Learning something completely unfamiliar forces your brain out of its comfort zone. It's like sending your mind to a new gym with equipment it's never used before. Take playing a musical instrument, for example. Studies show that learning to play an instrument engages nearly every part of your brain. The areas responsible for hearing, movement, memory, and even emotion. It's a full brain workout. Now, you don't have to become the next Mozart. Start small. Maybe dust off that old harmonica in the drawer, or borrow a keyboard from a grandchild. Even 10 minutes a day can make a difference. And if music isn't your thing, try painting, gardening, or even basic coding. The key is to pick something that feels fun, not like a chore. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's the process of learning. Every time you fumble through a new chord or mix up paint colors, you're building new neural pathways. And those pathways, they're like guardrails against forgetfulness. Activity number 2. Get social in unexpected ways. Now, this one might surprise you. We all know that staying social is important, but I'm not just talking about weekly phone calls with the grandkids or coffee with a friend. I'm talking about structured social activities that challenge your brain while connecting you with others. Think book clubs, dance classes, or even group trivia nights. Here's why this works. When you engage in a shared activity that requires focus, conversation, and a bit of friendly competition, you're giving your brain a triple threat of stimulation. For example, joining a local theater group, even as part of the stage crew, forces you to memorize lines or cues, collaborate with others, and adapt to unexpected moments, like a prop going missing. Or consider taking a dance class. Not only are you learning new steps, which improves coordination and memory, but you're also syncing up with a partner, reading social cues, and maybe even laughing when you misstep. And if getting out isn't always easy, bring the social challenge home. Invite a friend over for a board game that requires strategy, like Scrabble or chess. Or try a jigsaw puzzle together, the kind with 500 pieces and a tight deadline. The combination of conversation, problem-solving, and a little playful pressure works wonders for your cognitive health. You see, it's not just about being around people. It's about doing something meaningful together. These interactions act like a vitamin for your brain, boosting everything from memory to mood. Now, these two activities, learning something new and diving into social challenges, are powerful ways to keep your mind sharp. But there's one more surprising activity that blends creativity, movement, and even a dash of nostalgia. And trust me, you're going to want to hear about this one. Nostalgia. There's something magical about revisiting the moments that shaped us, isn't there? Which brings me to our third surprising activity, and this one's a personal favorite. It's all about blending creativity, movement, and those warm, cherished memories into one delightful brain-boosting experience. Ready? Let's dive in. Activity number 3. Reimagine your memories through creative movement. Now, I know creative movement might sound like something from a modern dance class, and sure, you could try that. But what I'm talking about is simpler, more personal, and deeply rooted in your story. Think of it as a way to reconnect with your past while giving your brain and body a gentle, joyful workout. Here's how it works. Start by picking a song, a place, or even an object that sparks a strong memory. Maybe it's the jazz standard you danced to at your wedding, the smell of pine that reminds you of childhood camping trips, or that old recipe box filled with your mother's handwriting. Now, here's the twist. Use that memory as fuel for something creative. Let me give you an example. Say you choose a song from your youth, something lively, like Elvis or Motown. Press play, and as the music fills the room, let yourself move. It doesn't have to be choreographed. Sway in your chair, tap your feet, or even wander around the living room if you're able. The goal isn't to perform. It's to let your body respond to the music while your mind swims in those old happy memories. As you move, you're not just exercising your muscles. You're lighting up the parts of your brain that handle rhythm, emotion, and long-term recall. It's like a symphony for your synapses. Or maybe you're someone who prefers quiet reflection. Try this. Take a walk around your neighborhood or local park, but with a mission. As you stroll, look for something that reminds you of a happy time. A flower that grew in your grandmother's garden, the sound of kids laughing like your own did decades ago. When you get home, grab a notebook or a sketch pad and jot down a few lines, doodle, or even write a short poem about that memory. The act of moving your body, then translating that experience into words or art, bridges the gap between your physical and mental worlds. It's a workout for your whole self. And here's the science behind it. Studies show that combining movement with cognitive tasks, like reminiscing or creating, strengthens the connection between your brain's hippocampus, the memory hub, and its motor cortex. It's why dancers often have sharper memories as they age. But you don't need to be a dancer. Even folding laundry while humming a familiar tune counts. The key is to pair motion with meaning. Now, if you're thinking, I'm not the artsy type, don't worry. This isn't about talent. It's about engagement. One gentleman I know started whittling small wooden figures based on people from his past. Another woman began arranging photo collages of her travels, using scraps of fabric and ticket stubs. With each project, they're not just passing time. They're weaving their life's tapestry into something tangible, all while giving their brains a vibrant, multi-layered challenge. The bonus secret: curiosity is ageless. Before we wrap up today, I want to share a little secret that ties all these activities together. It's not about the what, it's about the how. Whether you're learning an instrument, laughing over a board game, or dancing to an old record, the magic lies in staying curious. Curiosity is like a spark that keeps your brain's pilot light burning. It turns, "I could never do that," into, "Why not try?" Take Margaret, a viewer who wrote to me last year. At 78, she decided to learn how to use a tablet, not just for emails, but to watch videos about ancient history, a topic she'd loved as a child. Soon, she was hosting weekly history chats with her grandchildren over video calls, sharing stories, and debating which Roman emperor had the best fashion sense. Her vote, Julius Caesar. Was the tech frustrating at first? Absolutely. But leaning into that curiosity and connecting it to her lifelong interests made all the difference. So, as you explore these activities, ask yourself, what makes me light up? Maybe it's the thrill of a new challenge, the comfort of an old melody, or the joy of surprising yourself. Whatever it is, follow that thread. Your brain will thank you, not just with sharper recall, but with a renewed sense of wonder. And remember, none of this has to be perfect. Miss a note on the harmonica? Laugh it off. Forget a dance step? Improvise. The beauty is in the doing, not the outcome. After all, a mind that's still playful is a mind that's still growing. Now, I've shared these 3 activities with you, but here's the truth. They're just the beginning. The real adventure starts when you take what resonates with you and make it your own. So, go ahead. Dust off that old hobby, call a friend for a puzzle marathon, or put on a song that makes your heart sway. Your brain and your spirit will feel the difference. And when you're ready, I'll meet you back here to tie it all together. We'll talk about how to weave these habits into your daily life, celebrate the small wins, and keep that mental spark glowing for years to come. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Welcome back. Now, let's talk about what happens after the harmonica's been dusted off, the dance steps have been fumbled through, and the photo collages are spread across the kitchen table. Because here's the thing. Keeping your mind sharp isn't about checking off a list of activities and calling it a day. It's about weaving these habits into the rhythm of your life in a way that feels natural, even joyful. And the best part, it doesn't have to be complicated. Let's start with the big question. How do you make these activities stick? The answer is simpler than you might think. It's all about tying them to what already matters to you. For example, if you've always loved music, let that be your anchor. Maybe you practice that harmonica while your morning coffee brews, or you put on a favorite album while folding laundry, turning a chore into a chance to move and reminisce. The goal isn't to add more to your day, it's to enhance what you're already doing. Take George, a friend of mine who's 82. He's not one for dance classes or art projects, but he loves his daily walks. So, he started bringing a small notebook with him. When he spots something interesting, a peculiar-shaped cloud, a blooming flower, he stops and writes down a single word that comes to mind. Some days it's resilient, others it's serendipity. Later, he uses those words as prompts for a quick story or a call to his daughter. Turns out, he told me, my brain feels like it's doing push-ups, but in a good way. That's the beauty of it. These habits work best when they feel like play, not pressure. Maybe for you, that means inviting a neighbor over once a month to tackle a jigsaw puzzle together, turning it into a potluck of stories and laughter. Or perhaps it's keeping a jar of curiosity questions on the counter. Little slips of paper asking things like, why do stars twinkle? Or, how do birds know where to migrate? And picking one each week to explore online or at the library. The key is to make it yours. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what if I don't have the time or the energy? Here's the truth. This isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about shifting how you approach the moments you already have. Even 5 minutes a day counts. Miss a day? No problem. This isn't a race. It's a gentle, lifelong stroll. And let's talk about the elephant in the room. Frustration. Sure, there will be days when the harmonica squeaks, the paintbrush slips, or you blank on your grandkid's science project question. But here's a secret. Those mistakes are part of the process. Every time you stumble, your brain is actually working harder, building new pathways to compensate. Think of it like a detour on a familiar road. You might take a little longer, but you'll discover sights you'd have missed otherwise. So, let's tie this all together. We've talked about 3 surprising ways to sharpen your mind: learning something new, diving into social challenges, and blending movement with creativity. But the real magic happens when you mix them all together. Imagine this. You take a cooking class, new skill. Laugh with classmates as you burn the soufflé, social connection. Then go home and recreate the recipe with a twist of your own, creativity. That's a triple threat brain boost, and a pretty delicious one too. But here's what I really want you to remember. Your brain is never done growing, ever. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, but let's call it what it is: hope. Hope that you can still surprise yourself, that you're never too old to discover a new passion or rekindle an old one. Hope that every small step you take is quietly, powerfully, keeping your mind agile. So, as we wrap up, I'll leave you with this. Picture your mind as a garden. Crossword puzzles? They're like watering one corner of it. But to keep the whole garden thriving, you need variety. Sunlight here, compost there, a mix of flowers and herbs and vegetables. That's what these activities are. They're the nutrients that help your mind bloom in ways you might not expect. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you tried learning something new recently? Maybe you've rediscovered an old hobby or shared a laugh over a game night. Drop a comment below and let me know. I read every single one. And if this video resonated with you, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps others find this content too. Finally, if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. We're here to help you live your fullest, brightest life at any age, with tips, stories, and a whole lot of encouragement along the way. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, aging isn't about slowing down. It's about opening up to new experiences, old joys, and the endless curiosity that makes life worth savoring. Here's to your sharp mind, your vibrant spirit, and the many adventures still ahead. Until next time, keep blooming.